This is Just a Thought, a podcast for parents ready to change their mind and change their lives. This podcast is packed full of the one thing that will change your life, your parenting, and your relationships. Don't believe me? It's just a thought. I'm your host, Christina Stead, and this is episode 7, The Most Important Day. Okay, I have a question for you today. Are you a goal setter? Or have you been disillusioned against setting goals? Do you feel like it's something that causes more disappointment in your life? Or are goals helpful to you? I feel like when most people set goals, they often put a lot of pressure and expectation around those first days, weeks, and months of setting the goal. I feel like sometimes we have this thought that if this goal is helpful and important, I should be able to do it perfectly from this point on. But I also think that that thought is a painful, unhelpful thought. And the reason I think that is the only thing I've been able to do perfectly and consistently up to this point in my life is to stay alive. Everything else I'm pretty consistently inconsistent about. So for the sake of all the things we might want to change, do differently, and become, I want to throw in a few new useful thoughts for you. What if the most important day is the day you fail? The day you fail and reassess and decide to keep trying for your goal despite the fact that you feel you failed and despite the fact that you may have thoughts that may discourage you from trying again. What if you're wrong about all of them? What if you can be consistent? What if you can change? Just because you haven't done it yet doesn't mean you won't ever. And maybe you're like me and you are consistent. Maybe you're just consistent at being inconsistent, but maybe you can learn to work with that. You're consistent at something, so maybe you can learn to be consistent at something else. I'm a big goal setter. I love to change and improve and set goals. One goal I've had to reset many times through my life is a goal to read my scriptures every day. Because as a Christian, I know that scripture reading specifically helps me keep my thoughts geared toward God and where I want to go because of Him. But me being the perfectly imperfect, consistently inconsistent human that I am, I often fall behind on this goal. I'll wake up one day and think, oh yeah, I was going to read my scriptures every day starting Sunday. I haven't read in 2 days. My thoughts about the circumstance would be really negative, and I would think, well, this is why I should never set a goal. I always mess it up. I'm so inconsistent. I'm so bad at this game. That's a thought my brain likes to pull out a lot. I'm so bad at this game. Then the thought, I don't know why I even try, would come up, like hydrogen peroxide on a wound, just killing everything, not really helping, but bringing this painful sensation of guilt and shame that I used to think was helpful. Now, I read my scriptures more consistently before, and when I miss a day or more, I no longer follow the old thought train that tells me stories about how I'm not enough because I didn't achieve what I thought I could, or this is just the way I am and I'll never change. These are just stories, and they're fairly unhelpful ones. Instead, I like to look at my reasons. Why do I have the goal? Why do I care? If that reason is still good in my mind, what happens? What thoughts do I think? What actions do I take or not take that are keeping me from achieving my goal or causing me to fail? One time, as I was analyzing my circumstance of failing to read my scriptures perfectly every day for the rest of my life, the thought came to me that scriptures are like food for my spirit. Food is essential to one's physical health. And if I were to miss eating one day, either because I got so busy doing other things and I never made time, or because I was actually prevented from eating, like I forgot my food or I didn't have money to buy food or I was intentionally fasting or not eating for some reason. Anyway, if I woke up one day and realized that I hadn't eaten any food the day before, it would be fairly unhelpful to think, well, I'm no good at this game. I'm always so inconsistent. Why do I even try? In this scenario, I feel it would be much more useful to think, I didn't eat yesterday, which would be the circumstance. My thoughts could then be, well, eating is still important to me. Even though I didn't eat yesterday, I'll eat as soon as I can. And then I would make plans to get some food and eat again when I had the opportunity. And that would be priority. I wouldn't punish myself by saying, oops, I forgot to eat. I guess I never get to eat again. That would be crazy. Yet I feel like we do this all the time when it comes to feeling like we failed. Eating is important to me. It's essential. And I still don't even do that perfectly, and that's okay. It's worth it to me to keep trying and keep eating and make it a priority even when I don't do it perfectly. I believe it's the same for any other goal in my life. Sometimes when I acknowledge a circumstance, when I failed, I'll decide it actually isn't important to me and I can decide not to pursue it anymore. Failing is really just a great natural and ever reoccurring time to reassess what matters and what's important. We have a chance to be intentional. After we fail to either do something we thought or hoped we could do, or we failed to achieve a result we wanted, we will feel emotions and healthy pain that come with failing. We might feel disappointment. We might feel sad. We can process these emotions and then recommit ourselves to continue on. We can ask ourselves, what tripped me up? Was it circumstantial? Was it a conscious or subconscious decision to do things differently than I had anticipated or hoped? Do I like my reasons for making that decision? What is super cool to me is how freeing this way of thinking is. It gives us the ability to really embrace our agency and really choose intentionally what is important to us. Never giving up is what makes our goals inevitable, not never failing. If we keep on going, putting one foot in front of the other, so to speak, we will learn to walk. No matter how many times we fall in the process, it will happen. And it's the same with our goals. Keep going forward and you will achieve your goals. This is your host, Christina Stead, and this is Just a Thought.